Hello everyone, this is Jotto, and welcome to a patch review. Blizzard never releases patches. Apparently they do, just not very often. But anyway, this is a very major patch. It involved the wipe as well, the beta wipe, no open beta unfortunately, but the beta wipe in general, and a bunch of changes. So I'm going to be going over this along with a fellow Mana Grind member who also joins us on the Manacast, Moon.
Hello everyone, this is Moon. Thanks for having me in the show, thanks for the warm welcome, Jotto. Everyone was so excited about this patch, so I'm really looking forward to go through all the changes with you together. So let's get started, shall we? That's your sentence.
I know, it doesn't matter though. Let's just get on with this. I mean, as you guys can tell, this is a pretty quick video. I mean, normally I do slides and such, but just want to get the video out so it's not actually scripted, unlike the HearthStone hospitals where we did everything perfectly. This is just randomly going over all the cards. But anyway, so getting started, all these notes on Ancient Mage and Archmage and things, it's just a text change. They change spell power to spell damage. It does exactly the same thing, but spell power was confusing, whereas spell damage actually shows what it actually does. Whereas with spell power it was like, do I get extra healing? No, you don't. It's only damage.
Yeah, it's really good for clarification.
Yeah, it's better for new players. But anyway, the first actual change we're going to be talking about is Captain Greenskin. Now, he was changed from a 5-mana 5/5 that drew a card every time you attacked with your hero to a 5-mana 5/4 with Battlecry, give your weapon +1/+1. Basically, he's an upgrade on a 5-drop. What do you think, Moon?
Yeah, I really like this change. Like, you can give your True Silver Champion another durability, you can give your Gorehound another durability. I mean, you can do this with upgrade as well, but you can do it with another
all the upgrades.
Also, there are things like Doomhammer. I don't know. I like
this
is
so good with Doomhammer now. This is pretty insane with Doomhammer. I think the one, if this impacts constructed, which I don't think it will, but if it does, it'll probably be played in either rogue weapon decks because they got nerfed hard, which we'll talk about later, or True Silver and Sword of Justice decks, because those two weapons are ridiculous with this effect. I mean, True Silver was already considered pretty much the best weapon in the game, or tied for first or second with Doomhammer and like Evil Hornbow.
Yeah.
But this is crazy. Turn 4 True Silver, turn 5 Captain Greenskin. You just removed a dollar on Mage and then S Engine for free.
Yeah, it's so in curve. It's amazing.
It's crazy. The other thing this is going to be good with is Arcanite Reaper, although less so because you can't really curve them. But anyway,
yeah, definitely.
Moving on to his Parrot. Now, Blizzard has a habit of doing 3 types of changes. 1, balancing cards which are overpowered and then nerfing them into oblivion. See Cult Master. 2, changes that don't make sense in any way. See Captain's Parrot. And 3, buffing cards for no reason. We'll look at Lightspawn later. But yeah, Captain's Parrot, like, I don't know, maybe in the land of internal testing where Warrior is the strongest class and the coin is balanced, Captain's Parrot being a 1/2 is just too much. But
it is.
I've never seen this played, ever.
I think this change is due to Captain Greenskin somehow.
Yeah,
I think it's due to the Captain Greenskin.
You could make it die at the end of turn and it would still be played for the Captain Greenskin combo.
Yeah, I know.
I don't get the point of this. I don't get the point of this. I think we should just
like
move on.
Change.
Should we just move on? Like,
yeah.
This is an awkward one where it's like, hey, look, it's a change that nobody really cares about, but it's here anyway. Dollar on Mage. Now, Dollar on Mage was completely broken. It was a 2/4 for 3 with spell power, which is insane. Now, everyone agreed that if it was a 2/3, it'd be fine. And then this change came out, and it made it 1/4. Now, when we were on TeamSpeak, we were discussing this, and there was a bunch of people who told me, it's like, oh, so you're going to stop playing Dollar on Mages now? And I'm like, you don't seem to get why Dollar on Mage was powerful, do you? Like, I never attacked with it. It was just, it never ever died. And it still never ever dies. And I've played with this
true.
card. I've played with this card after nerf, and it's still insane.
Yeah, it's just a pillar of spell power basically. But you have at least you have like less board presence. You can't deal with the 2 drops anymore,
That's true.
like with 3 2s or something. So I like this change a bit, but
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
it's
still a
weird.
really good spell power minion.
I think they should have made it a 2-3. That would have like balanced it. But again, Blizzard they see what's overpowered, but I think Team 5 they're not as experienced in terms of actual game balancing. They're experienced in their field, which is card games, but they're not that experienced in terms of game balancing, and it really does show. Where they see a card as overpowered, but they don't really change it in the correct way. It happened with Cultmaster and Stormwind Champion. It happened with Dalaran Mage now.
Yep.
Pretty interesting to see this stuff. Or Illidan, that was a funny change. Um, but anyway, I'm not going to go over the last patch because we've already been over that one. I made a rather angry video about that one. That's the thing. I think it's one of the most opinionated videos I've ever made was the one on the last patch because that was a
I think
horrendous
it was,
patch.
yeah.
It was terrible. Now, let's go to Frostwolf Warlord. Now, this is essentially less irritating. I don't know if it's a buff, but for anyone who doesn't know, the stupid combo with this card was you played it when you had like 3 minions on the board. They would AoE your board. The extra health from the buff would absorb all the AoE damage. It would become a 4/4. Then you played a bunch of extra minions. It would infinitely heal itself. Like, even if you did a bunch of damage to it, as long as you got enough minions, if you got 3 minions on the board, it would heal itself to full, and it was annoying. It just never died. This is the fixed version,
Yeah.
which I think is actually better and more consistent.
Yeah, I was watching yesterday through the forums and people are still discussing this card if it's a buff or if it's a nerf. I think it's less confusing, but it also, unfortunately, it loses some flavor in the cards. So
It's like
yeah,
the whole flavor of this was that he gets stronger as many troops as he has on the board. Now he's just a
yeah,
slightly better Twilight Drake, or no, worse actually, because they made it better against Silence. um, yeah, this is just a really awkward Twilight
I
Drake
think
now.
it's yeah, or kind of a sea giant because
Actually,
you
no,
have to have
it's a really
you
awkward
have to
sea
have
giant. That's
yeah.
it. That's a good one because it gets silenced and it's like I'm gonna cut you in half. Gelbin Mechatork, no one cares. Let's see. This is just random stuff that they added in because they always add random stuff in. Injured Blade Master. Now, this is a card which everyone ignored. I know everyone's looking at it and saying like, you know, this is pretty insane because we've seen like 3 mana 4/3s in the past that have been insanely good. I mean, look at Kirin Mage and Master of Disguise until they decided to nerf Master of Disguise for no reason. Whatever.
Yeah.
So Injured Blade Master is now the first neutral 4/3 because everyone has to have 4/3s. You get a 4/3 and you get a 4/3 and you get a 4/3 for 3. Like, we all have 4/3s for 3, and yeah, I know it says 4/7, but its battle cry deals 4 damage to itself. The interesting thing about that is you can heal it up, so it's like a super powerful priest card now.
Yeah, and also a really good warrior card to enrage it.
That's true, because it's already damaged, so you can actually
Yeah.
use Rampage on it. Yeah, this is an interesting card. I have heard Easy actually thinking about this seriously, which is nice to see because it's a neutral minion that everyone laughed at before. It's amazing what 1 stat point does. But everyone loves 3 mana 4/3s, man. What can I say?
Yeah.
Now,
Mage.
yeah, Kirin Mage. The next one that's actually interesting, if I try and get through all this random stuff, is Light Warden. Now, for anyone who's been on my stream at some point, which I haven't been able to stream for a while because of schoolwork, essentially, a bunch of people have asked me about that, and by going back to school, I had to cut something, and I couldn't cut video making or community managing. It had to be streaming, essentially. I don't have the time anymore. But for anyone who remembers back then, I had 2 mods on with me a lot, which was Moon and Nick Demon. Now, Nick Demon is a Warlock player who used to play this in his deck because he plays Healing Warlock. When he looked at this change, he was like, oh, I have automatically got an overpowered deck now. Because you play turn 1 Light Warden, turn 2 Hero Power, Coin, like Voodoo Doctor, attack for 3.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy now. It's a really good card. Like, I never thought much of this card, but Nick has apparently had some incredible success with it.
Yeah, I have tried it in the past, but it didn't turn out to be good. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if some shamans are gonna try this out.
I always preferred Secret Keeper, which is, it seems disjointed, but they sort of serve the same role. I always preferred Secret Keeper over this because its health was also buffed.
But for
Um,
what class? For
for
paladins or?
Paladin, back when I played Paladin, I played Secret Keeper as a 1-drop.
Okay.
Like, that's an interesting card actually for anyone who wants to try out a 1-drop in Paladin. Try that one out, or in Hunter. Paladin most of the time, it gets really big really fast.
Yeah, and it's really good if you follow it up with like a noble sacrifice. You just can't kill it.
What I've done was turn 1, 2 of them with coin, turn 2 noble sacrifice redemption. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
pretty
was
good.
funny for me. My opponent was not very happy after that. But anyway,
We will see
onto,
this played,
yeah, I think we will.
definitely.
Onto a card which everyone hates. Yeah, no one likes this card because it's the most irritating legendary to play against, unless your name is Noxious, in which case every time you play it, you will laugh like maniacally. But basically, it doesn't retaliate anymore, which I think is amazing, because this effect is annoying. Like, it's incredibly powerful as an effect, and I really hated the fact that this thing also could attack. It just seemed weird.
Yeah, but it was only one attack,
I
so I'm not
know,
sure if
but
if the change was like needed,
it came up surprisingly
but
a
it's okay.
lot, because it was used with hero powers to take down things, because you couldn't cast spells anyway. So
Yeah.
it was weird. Like, it didn't look like much, but it was just dumb. They changed it from a 1-mana 1/3 to a 1-mana 1/4, and wait, wasn't it like a 2/4 at one point? No, it was a 1/4. Um,
I think there was one point during
but it was a
Cognitive Days where it was a
2/4,
2-4.
and
Yeah.
everyone was like,
That was.
"Really, Blizzard? Really? Like, are you really?" And then they changed it to a 1/4, and then now it's a 0/4.
I
Sure.
think it's a okay change.
Now, Blizzard, I have a policy when it comes to patch changes, which is make up your mind. Because Mana Wraith is a card that they can't make their mind up on. Like, for anyone who wants to know, it used to be a 2-mana 2/2. Then it was changed to a 2-mana 1/3. Then it was changed to a 2-mana 2/2. In the next patch, it will be changed to a 2-mana 1/3. Like, it's... Make up
It
your
was irritating,
mind,
yeah.
seriously. Like, I think actually the previous version was better.
Yeah, and it's also not played that much, so I'm not sure.
I don't... There is a part of Blizzard changes which doesn't make much sense, and I think this goes in that column.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip over this one. Okay, now this is a funny change. Now, when we first looked at this, it wasn't in this format. It was in a format which just had the text, so everyone thought it was changed to a 1-mana 2/2. And I was like, what the hell are you doing, guys? And then we realized it was a nerf, actually, not a crazy buff.
Yeah.
Also, Team 5, can you add a vanilla, like, just no ability 1-mana 2/2? That would be a pretty cool card, to be honest. Like, 1-mana 2/2 Beast, because all the vanilla stuff is Beast. Hunter Beast
Yeah,
need a
I
buff
guess.
right now. Go for it. Anyway, Blindside Summoner. I think this is because they realized that in Constructed it never works, and in Arena it's broken, so they're trying to make it less useful in Constructed and balanced in Arena. We've seen it with
Yeah.
Cult Master before. I don't really care.
I would completely agree to you.
Yeah, oh, look. It's a change to a card which everyone has, but no one really cares about. Yeah. Anyway, Repair Bolt was changed from not random to completely random, because Gelbin Mechatork needs to be more RNG based.
Yeah, they basically fixed Noxious random win deck.
Now everything in his deck is random. Yeah, the Repair Bolt, no one really cares. Like, it barely ever comes up. Now, onto
Yeah.
a change which it doesn't make much difference in Constructed, but it does make a huge difference in Arena, which is why I like this change. They changed Sunfury Protector from the global taunt to a smaller Defender of Argus, basically.
Yeah, I like this change.
Yeah, I do as well. In Constructed,
Because
like, you're playing around board wipe, so you never have more than like 3 things on the board at once, but in Arena you have everything, and it was just stupid that a 2-drop would like lose you the game because he just gave 6 minions taunt.
yeah, and Sunfury Protector itself is already a pretty good 2-drop. Like
Yeah.
it just wasn't needed that it's like that strong.
everyone loves a crocodile. But yeah, River Crocodile says hi, and this is a better version. So yeah, I think the change is okay. Like, it doesn't affect constructed that much, but it will affect arena quite a bit. Now, onto a change which I actually love. Like, I love this change to the beast. Like, alright, the reason I hated the beast before was because it was so flimsy, and so you just got the death rattle like all the time. But the other reason was it had 10 attack, which was a bit excessive because it meant that it was played in one deck, and that one deck was also known as Unleash the Hounds deck. Unleash the Hounds combo deck. Oh, okay. Take 11, by the way. Yeah. That was fun. I'm okay with this. It's better as a standard minion now. It's actually good as a standard minion, and I think this will see play now.
Yep, that's what I think as well.
I hope so.
Before the change, you only used it, almost only used it with Unleash the Hounds, and now you can actually play it even without it.
It's not better than Argent Commander, but it's a decent 6-drop.
Yep.
So I'm okay with that. Now, this is a funny change, by the way, to the Black Knight. Now, this applied in one situation, which was when you only had Black Knight in your hand, you had to play it, and then you had to kill your own Senjin. I always found that kind of funny. So it's just a quality of life improvement. It's not really a buff, it's just like a, why do I have this in my deck buff, I guess. Because you couldn't play the Black Knight in taunt decks, because every so often you just like eviscerate your own minion. It was really annoying. Now, on to arguably the best change of the entire patch, Twilight Drake. Now, Twilight Drake is notorious for being my least favorite card in the game, up until now, because it was a case of, oh, I have 4 mana, I have a 10/10 Twilight Drake, do you have a silence? If so, you win because I haven't played anything for 3 turns, and I've life tapped 3 times. If you don't have a silence, I win because you can't deal with the stupid 10/10 on turn 4.
Yeah, I think we won't see it that much in Constructed anymore. It will still be played in Arena.
In Arena, it's
not
good.
In Constructed because it still dies to Earthshock.
It's just a Chillwind Yeti now, basically, with a downside.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad to see Twilight Drake decks are not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Good in Arena, though.
It was kind of broken before. I agree to this.
Okay, now onto the Druids. Now, Ancient Secrets. Now, this isn't a card, it's the ability from the Ancient of Lore, which was the healing ability. It now only heals for 5. I don't really know what to think about this, to be honest.
Looks like a change to Arena to me. Maybe it was too strong in Arena.
No, it wasn't played in Arena, it was played in Constructed. Like, I guess the healing was too much.
You picked it if you had the epic in Arena, I guess.
I guess.
I picked it all the time.
I mean, this is like a buff to rogue decks, like rogue aggro, so they don't just get stopped by Ancient Lore anymore. Sure, I play rogue aggro, I'm okay with this. Like, sure.
I think if they would have made it 6 health, it would be okay, an okay change. 5 is a bit too much.
I think they should have made it like 6 or maybe 5. 5 is okay. We'll have to see. I think 6 is probably the best number. But we'll have to see. Now, Blizzard, I have a little tangent to go on with this. Can you stop nerfing savagery? Like,
back and forth.
Seriously, they've nerfed savagery in every single patch they've ever done. I'm serious, you can go look at them. Like, in the first patch they increased the cost. In the second patch they made everything it interacts with worse. And in the third patch, like, oh, I'm sorry, you were using this for AoE? No. We just made the attack version of Shield Slam. Have fun.
Yeah. Although I like this card now. Even though I will miss the board wipe.
I don't think
I don't think I'll 1 mana removal.
It's an attack-based Shield Slam. You know what the awkward thing is?
Yeah.
You're gonna attack anyway.
Yeah, but you can attack the hero with Bite, for example, and then kill a minion with 4 damage.
You just 2-for-1 yourself.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Okay.
The only use this has in my mind now, because before attacking them wasn't a waste of a card because you used it with savagery to do a bunch of damage. Now it's like, why don't I just attack the thing? I don't know.
Well,
the only time this will come up is when he has 2 minions and your only way of killing both is with like bite, hero power, savagery.
Yeah, exactly.
But to be honest, I'm not a druid player, but I don't think this will be played. Not anymore. Savagery, like, they needed the AoE really with savagery, and that was why it was good, and now it's like, oh, have a single target, destroy target minion with taunt.
We will see, I guess.
Well, we'll see, but I don't think this is a good card anymore. Now, this is a change which I love. Do I see the point in it? Kind of. A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, Spell Druid. Spell Druids
Spell Druid is no longer viable. Like,
yep.
Now, alright, Team 5 has a habit of, if something's overpowered, they make it unplayable. This happened with tokens, this happened with aggro, this happened with Spell Druid, and this happened with rogues in general in this patch, actually. Like, apart from aggro rogue, like, Miracle Rogue was overpowered, so they butchered it.
I wouldn't go that far though.
I played against a Miracle Rogue earlier, and he had like a full deck because he probably bought a bunch of packs. Like,
yeah, no, I meant the Druid.
Oh, the Druid. Well, no, this patch didn't kill the Spell Druid. I think it was just a culmination of all the nerfs.
Yeah, you still have stuff like
you still have
Strike,
Starfire,
Bite, Starfire.
but
you still have some burst.
These changes, they feel weird. Like Starfall, all right. For the change, for anyone who's wondering, Starfall doesn't hit heroes anymore. You can't target heroes. It only targets minions now. It doesn't sound like much, but it means that Druid now have a fatal weakness to spell power decks of any kind because they can't race them. Like they can't. They don't have enough direct damage to actually kill them. We saw this in Limited, where just removing Force of Nature was enough to stop the deck from ever killing anyone. And in this patch they removed Starfall direct damage and Wrath, which is the other change. Exactly the same change, which is Starfall and Wrath can't target heroes anymore. Now the Wrath one is a weird one because I couldn't figure out why they changed this, and then I looked at the change they made to Shiv, at which point I'm like, you guys are trying too hard to cover your tracks right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see if Druid is still capable of being top tier.
I hope so. Like, I hope they're tier 2, I guess. I don't know, it just feels like Druid always gets sort of the nerf bat in every single patch. Which, it seems excessive at this point. I mean, they did well in one tournament, and I love how they do well in one tournament. Shaman's done well in like 5, and Druid gets nerfed again, and Shaman gets like, oh, we tweaked your healing totem.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on to the minions. Ancient of Lore, yeah. Ancient of... That's a mistype. Hearthstone, you need to get this fixed.
Yep.
In case you're wondering, they put Ancient of War under Ancient of Lore, but the change is exactly the same. It's always fun when you find this, like, and you have it recorded.
That's true.
So if anyone who's like involved with Curse is watching this, you need a typo, like, check. But anyway, Cenarius. Now, again, is there like some internal testing deck I'm missing?
I think it's another arena change. Maybe it was too strong in arena.
But would you ever play this in Constructed now?
I actually had a deck at the end of the beta, Druid token deck, where Cenarius was in my deck. Yeah.
But it's like 9 mana now. I'd rather just play a second Stormwind champion.
Yeah, now I play a second Stormwind champion. Now Cenarius is almost unplayable for me.
Hey, we heard you like Cenarius and Constructed, so we nerfed him. I think this is directed towards Arena. I do agree. Cenarius is one of the strongest legendaries in Arena, because both of his effects are insane in that format. But yeah, I think this really does prove that they're balancing a lot of the game towards Arena and less of Constructed, which seems a bit weird. But anyway, we'll have to see. I think Cenarius is now unplayable, but we'll have to see. Maybe someone's going to use it in some decks. On to Hunters. Now, there are 2 changes here. One of which, Scavenging Hyena, I'll go over first. Now, this, everyone's like, oh, it's a nerf. No, it's not a nerf. It's to make Hunter Beast mirrors less confusing.
Yeah.
Like, for anyone who's wondering, if you ever played Hunter Beast mirrors, you want to kill yourself. Like, as soon as a Scavenging Hyena gets played, the amount of extra math you have to do is insane. Like,
Really is.
it's ridiculous. And the other thing is, in Arena, they play Scavenging Hyena, and then your opponent had a Razorfen Hunter, and they're like, wait a second, why did your Hyena get buffed twice? Oh wait, the boar is a beast for some reason. Yeah, this is it's like it's a help to the people who haven't been playing for ages because they don't know that the tokens are beasts and things like that, so it just gets confusing.
Yep.
I'm okay with this. I'm perfectly okay with this. This isn't really a nerf to Hyena. This is just like a please make this less confusing change. So this is actually a very good change, and it'll come up every so often. Now, Hunter's Mark. Can someone explain to me why this was changed? I thought the whole point of Hunter's Mark was surprise. Why do you need to Hunter's Mark the turn before? Like, apart from Explosive Trap.
Used for Explosive Trap.
Sure. So they changed the card to go with one interaction in one deck, as opposed to just making the card useful in general. For anyone who's wondering,
be good in control decks now.
You don't have the space for it. You just don't.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Because if you play Explosive Trap, then Hunter's Mark to kill something is a 2-for-1. I'd rather just Deadly Shot it. But anyway.
Yeah.
I played Hunter Control a lot, and you don't have room for Hunter's Mark. I have tried it just doesn't work. But for anyone who's wondering, like, Hunter's Mark hasn't really changed, unless you're in one situation, like when he randomly has an Abomination. Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, there is a funny interaction with this though, which is Lightspawn. Lightspawn hates this card.
Oh yeah.
0 mana, make target Lightspawn useless. But besides that, it's not much of a change. I think this is gonna blow some Lightspawn people out though, and they're gonna be so pissed off at it. But besides that, it's not much of a change. Now, this is the main. Now the mage changes. This is one of the main reasons why Moon is here. I don't play mage at all. I'm terrible at mage. Moon is like my resident mage player, so I'm gonna give him the changes. I'm gonna let him talk about these ones because I have no idea. Like, just
no, those are amazing changes. Like one day before the actual patch, we had the mana cast, and I was talking about Frostbolt. Was saying, "Oh my god, I'm not playing this card. It costs too much." Bam! There we go.
It's really strong now.
It's really strong.
It's really strong now.
And also the Sorcerer's Apprentice is now much more addictable to play it. Before it was just 2/2, it couldn't deal with all the stuff, it couldn't deal with all the 2-drops. You don't really want it to play the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Now it's a 3/2, you can deal with stuff and you can make use out of him.
It's a Razorfen. It's a Raptor basically now. It's a Raptor with an ability.
It's amazing, and you can even protect it with an mirror image. Like you can coin out Sorcerer's Apprentice and mirror image. Wow, that's an amazing start. Like,
yeah.
But you have to have enough draw power unless your hand is really empty really quickly with Sorcerer's Apprentice.
That's true.
So if you plan to use Sorcerer's Apprentice, put a lot of draw power into your deck.
But yeah, I think
is an amazing change.
The mage changes we'll have to see. A bunch of people are like, oh, mage is overpowered, and I'm like, well, the changes aren't actually that big. Like Frostbolt, I think, is the only one that's going to impact constructed that much. Like Sorcerer's Apprentice, maybe, but I think Frostbolt's the one that's going to actually impact constructed.
I think you will have some issues with mirror image early game.
Maybe we'll have to see.
You can't just hero power kill it anymore.
Yeah, but we'll have to see.
Use a minion.
Like, I don't really like the card still, but we'll have to see how it actually goes. The interaction I'm scared of, by the way, is Knife Juggler Mirror Image, because it protects the Knife Juggler. Anyway, Paladin changes. The only Paladin change was Divine Favor, changed to 3 mana. Okay, I'm okay with this. Divine Favor was broken. Like, just ask Noxious. I played a game against him, which he ended up recording and putting up on a stream. I won because I Divine Favored for 8 twice. Yeah, draw 16 cards in a token deck. Have fun.
You as a Paladin, former Paladin player or still Paladin player?
Former, yeah.
Would you change anything else? Like, I think it's a really balanced class.
I'd replace Lice Justice.
Yeah, let's just space in mind, that's true.
For anyone who hasn't seen that, by the way, you need to go into the second half of the last mana cast and look at the paladin changes. As soon as Light's Justice came up, we all just burst out laughing.
Yeah, let's just was the one I was forgetting.
There's nothing you can talk about. There's nothing you can talk about a 1/4 for 1 that's a weapon.
Yeah.
It's just awful.
We have Captain Greenskin.
Yeah, we have Captain Greenskin with Light Justice. Yay. Okay. You can even play him on the same turn on turn 6 instead of an Argent Commander. Yeah, no. Anyway, onto the priest changes. Now, I can safely say I was in TeamSpeak when Easy came online. And Easy's a priest player who recently gave up on priest, and then he saw the changes. He was ecstatic. Like, now, we've been saying add penance for a long time, so what they did was like, oh, we're not going to add penance, we're going to add, like, twice penance for twice the price. Yeah, Holy Fire is now a thing. It's penance's, like, slower, bigger brother.
Yeah,
I still think
can
penance.
deal with like Sunwalker stuff. If you at least if you get rid of the shield and stuff.
You know what I want to know? Why didn't they add the penance art? The Holy Fire art looks weird.
It's the greater heal art, right?
Yeah, it's the greater heal art, but
okay. Yeah, it's weird.
The penance art was amazing. It was so good.
It was, yeah.
Whatever. I'm just nitpicking at this point. This is an incredibly good spell. Very good spell.
What do you think about Shadow Word Death?
Well, first of all, I think that they've put the wrong card here. It should be Shadow Word Death, not Shadow Word Pain.
Yeah,
okay, guys, you need to spell check this stuff. Alright, so I can't bring it up on here, but anyway, Shadow Word Death is Shadow Word Pain's like bigger brother, where instead of 3 or less attack, it's 5 or more for 3. It sounds amazing. There is one problem, which is priests can't kill anything with 4 attack. In fact, I actually discovered something incredibly awkward. They can't kill Argent Commander with anything. Think about it.
Unless they use Easy Mod used this in the past. He crazed Alchemist, but that's almost a 2-for-1, almost. I mean, you get it
Argent Commander?
Yeah, he crazed Alchemist him and then Shadow Word pained him.
That's interesting. I guess it works, but he's already got in for 4.
Used it in the past.
Like, yeah, Argent Commander is gonna cause Priest to jump through hoops. Just to kill it, because it comes down before mind control and they just can't kill it. They can't kill it profitably at all. It's kind of awkward, but yeah, I think Argent Commander is going to be the bane of priest players.
It could be, unless they start like doing, I don't know, spell power, but that's not working, I guess.
No, it doesn't, because that's Divine Shield.
Yeah.
Like, meh, can't get rid of me. Like, you have Argent Commander sitting around saying, what's up? The best thing is, Penance was actually better against Argent Commander than Holy Fire, because you could ping it with an Elven Archer and then Holy Fire, then Penance. The problem is, if you're going second, you can't. You just have to Holy Fire it and hope for the best.
True.
It's 6 mana. Anyway, they changed Power Word Shield as well. It went from I'm super gimmicky to I'm less gimmicky and I draw a card. I like this change. They made it weaker and they added draw a card.
Yep, it's amazing.
It's pretty hard to go wrong with that kind of change. Okay. Now, Cabal Shadow Priest went from useless in Arena, useless in Constructed, to useless in Constructed, decent in Arena.
I agree, yeah.
Do we have to say anything else?
No.
Alright. Lightspawn. Now, remember when I said there was a change in here that really didn't need to be made? This was it. The correct change in this situation was removing the card. Alright, everyone's gonna be like, everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, it's a 4 mana 5/5. Yeah, that becomes a 1/1. Getting all that value. This is
so
super awkward.
Yes, Lightspawn is the more awkward Twilight Drake now, I feel.
Yeah, it is. It's yeah. Actually, I couldn't have said it better myself. It's still the more awkward Twilight Drake.
Yeah.
I just want to point out something for all the priest players who are listening right now. They took out penance for this. Just thought I'd point that out. They took out a 3 mana, deal 3 damage, heal 3 to your hero for a 4 mana 4/4 that never stays at 4 attack.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's I guess it could be playable now because it synergizes with Power Word Shield. You at least draw out of Power Word Shield now.
And then it
Even
gets
if
silenced and you still
after
got
it-
like, and he has an
yeah,
R&B
but
cal and you have a 0/5.
it already attacked, so maybe it's not too bad.
It didn't attack, doesn't have charge.
We will see.
It
No,
didn't
no, I
attack.
mean at the next
like-
turn. I mean at the next turn. You don't buff it on the same
Oh.
turn. I mean on the next turn.
Yeah, but it will still be silenced. So then you're like,
Yeah.
hey, I have a 0/7 now.
Because you have to play Inner Fire or something, but then it's already a 2
like
for 1.
at that point, you're like,
Uh,
play Nat Pagel. But anyway, alright, onto a change which is rather insane. Now, there is a long history of 1 mana 1/3s being ridiculous. We had Lorca Cho, we have Void Walker, we have Northshire Cleric, and Mana Worm. Is this the best one? I think this is the best. This is the best 1/3 for 1 they've ever made.
yeah, it is.
Okay.
I would agree.
It's a 1 mana
I mean,
1/3 that draws
drawing is
cards.
really-
Yeah. Acolyte of Pain has to cost 2 more mana to draw cards.
yeah, and you can deal with Defiance Ringleader now. If you play it on turn 1 and then you kill the 2/1 and heal yourself, you draw a card.
It's really good, yeah.
It's good.
It's super good. This is gonna be in priest decks. This is gonna impact constructed and arena. It's super powerful. Prophet Velen. Less awkward, but still the most awkward legendary in the game.
Yeah, I'm interested to see people trying it out with Shadow form.
You know what I call this? The Illidan effect. If I get my mana back, you're dead, but you're never gonna get your mana back with this thing still alive. That's an issue.
You mean yeah, you need to be already in Shadow form.
Well, no, I mean, it doubles the healing of your hero power. The problem is, it's a 7 mana 7/7 that has to live a turn to do something.
No,
Without
if you're
getting-
already,
I
yeah,
just wanna-
depends if you play it on turn 7 or turn 9.
But then if you play it on turn 9, you're dead. Because the format's insanely fast.
We will see. I'm wondering if it may be.
They made it faster, dude. They reduced the cost on a bunch of things and made a 4/3 for 3 that's neutral.
I know.
Yeah, basically Prophet Velen is the I'm a 7 mana 7/7 that then gets sapped. I love
I know
how
it's not that great.
I love how
I will
this
see if it.
I love how
will have
this
some
gets
use.
hit by Big Game Hunter and Tyrion Fordring doesn't.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's true.
No kidding. We've seen this with Illidan. Like, Illidan was insanely powerful and constructed for like 2 weeks, and everyone put Big Game Hunter in the deck, and it was like, oh, we can't play this card anymore. Yeah. 7 attack is not a good thing. 6 is good. 6 is good. 7, no. You want 7 health, not 7 attack.
Yeah, we will have another one in the Warlock later.
Okay, onto a class which I play, and everyone was like, oh, you're playing because it's the most powerful class. I just want to point out, I'm still playing Rogue, even after they nerfed it so hard that most people have given up on the class. Just thought I'd throw that out there, because a bunch of people are like, oh, you play Rogue because they're overpowered. I'm still playing Rogue. Still playing Rogue. Anyway, now, I have a little bit of a thing to say here. Blizzard, if there's an overpowered class, you balance it. You don't make it unplayable. Like, this is not the same thing. You can't do... Alright, I'm just going to go over the changes, and you'll see what I mean once I get to the bottom. Now, we're going to start with Backstab. You might as well not read the change. This doesn't affect 99% of situations. But I'm going to say it anyway. It damages an undamaged minion instead of a damaged minion, even though you'd be using this as a combo starter, not finisher. So, hooray.
Yeah, but it makes lore-wise it makes sense. Like you can't backstab if you already damaged him. The backstab is an initiate.
I know, but
So
this doesn't affect
lore-wise
gameplay.
it makes sense.
I tried, and people were like,
Yeah.
oh, but you can't shiv into backstab anymore. To which point I say, I'm not going to be shiving anyway, because it's a terrible card now. But I've played with this a bunch, and this didn't need a change. It didn't change anything. Like, if you're going to change a card, change it. Don't make a change that doesn't do anything. Just a word of advice. Conceal. Now, we heard you like Miracle Rogue, so we killed it. It's amazing
Yeah, you have
what
to
one
wait until
mana.
turn 6 now.
It's amazing what one mana does, but it does a lot. You can't conceal your Gadgetzan until turn 6, and you can't put your Questing Adventurer combo until turn 4, and then it attacks for like a 4/4 instead of like a 6/6, so it's just awkward. So yeah,
But you have to admit it was strong.
it was insane, don't get me wrong, but you're supposed to balance archetypes, not make them unplayable. I actually played against, like, I'm gonna go over all the changes to Miracle Rogue, but I played against a Miracle Rogue deck earlier. My Rogue deck was terrible against Miracle. Like, it always lost to Miracle. I think I beat Miracle once in a tournament. That's like the best I've ever done. I slaughtered it. It was fully complete. I don't have a complete deck, and because everything lost stealth, I was just like silence the Cleave, bounce the Questing Adventurer. He just
Yeah.
died. Like, Miracle Rogue changed from the sort of the combo deck that worked to the I'm gonna play an Ironbark Protector and hope it doesn't get sapped deck. Yeah, that's what it feels like now, and I don't really like decks that get changed that much. But we're gonna go over the rest of them. Headcrack. This is a pretty severe nerf to Miracle and Weapon. Like, for aggro, they also changed the hero power, which I'm gonna say, Dagger Mastery, the hero power, doesn't buff the weapon anymore. It just gives a 1/2 dagger. Now, this is these two changes are extreme nerfs to Miracle and Weapon Rogue, because they don't have the extra mana to play that much on Headcrack. Now, Dagger Mastery's change was an extreme nerf to Weapon Rogue, because they can't do Blade Flurry combos anymore. But weirdly enough, if you don't play any weapons, this was actually a good change, because you just attack and then bake it up 1/2, and then just play Deadly Poison, and it works surprisingly well. But Weapon Rogue and Miracle Rogue, between these two changes, took a huge hit. The reason I'm not saying Spell Power is because what Spell Power decks used to do was late game, Headcrack, Headcrack, Hero Power. Now they just Headcrack, Headcrack. Same cost. So, yeah. Doesn't affect that much. Now what they were saying preparation is, we're sorry we made Headcrack cost 3. We're going to give you a preparation Fan of Knives or Headcrack.
Yeah, they had to do this.
Preparation Fan of Knives is pretty relevant, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty relevant. Is there anything else you can say about preparation that hasn't already been said? It makes your spells cheaper.
I haven't played it.
It makes your spells cheaper. Play it if you're trying to make Miracle Rogue work.
Yeah.
Good luck. Shiv. This is what I meant by they were trying to cover their tracks with Wrath. 2 mana, deal 1 damage, draw a card. Okay, that's fine. And then you look at Mortal Coil, which is a 1 damage if it dies, draw a card, but then it's in Warlock, which has infinite card advantage. Or Wrath, which is now strictly better than this thing. And like,
Yeah, this change wasn't needed.
why? Change Sap, for crying out loud. Make Sap 3 mana. Keep Shiv at 1. Like, Sap was insane for anyone who's played against it. That card won games on its own, because it was an unsummon that was a combo starter. Like,
Yeah, it was insane.
it's super good. And I'm still abusing it, by the way. Still have 2 in my deck, still winning games. Hurrah.
I think almost every rogue has 2 in his deck.
Basically, yeah, but Shiv, just because it's in every deck doesn't mean it was super overpowered.
No, I mean Sap.
Yeah, Sap is in every deck, but Shiv is also in every deck, and
Yeah.
I don't get this change. This was too far, I think. A sap change would have been fine, but you can't nerf the main combo starter in all rogue decks. Like, this is too far as I'm concerned. I don't really have anything else to say about this. This was way too far in terms of nerfing. There was no reason to nerf Shiv. Like, what happened was, it was literally the equivalent of changing like Blizzard to be 6 mana because it's in every mage deck.
I mean, they will still adjust changes in the future, so I guess they just gave us the changes they had now to try it out, and I think they will also figure out that it's not.
But they've made it obvious that they don't like give patches out regularly because they test them internally as well. And the fact that they thought that Shiv was fine at 2 mana is mind-boggling to me. Like, I've tried Shiv. It's still playable as a combo starter, but you never feel good about playing Shiv anymore. Like, it takes so much mana. It's insane. Like, you never actually feel good about playing Shiv anymore, and that's not a good thing. It just... This is, I think, the other nerfs I can agree with, but this one is just... It was uncalled for, I think. Yeah. The sad thing is, if they hadn't nerfed Shiv, I think Rogue would be perfectly balanced, but they nerfed Shiv for some reason. So now Rogue is actually... What they managed to do with this patch was they managed to essentially kill 2 of the 3 Rogue archetypes, and then leave 1 of them as good. So they haven't actually nerfed Rogue that much. There's 3.
The 2 archetypes are definitely 1 tier lower.
Yeah, 2 of the archetypes, Miracle Rogue and Weapon, are now tier 2, if that. And then the only tier 1 one left is aggro, like aggro spell power. And that doesn't get affected by this much.
You are playing?
Yeah, I play it because I thought it was the best one, personally. And this the patch didn't actually change the deck that much. If you look at the deck I did, it didn't actually change that many cards. In terms of playstyle, so that's like fine, but I don't understand why you would. They didn't really balance Rogue, they funneled it. Like, I guarantee that most tournament playing Rogues will be playing spell power variants now, because everything else is basically made impossible, which is pretty sad, to be honest. It's pretty sad, but anyway, I'm gonna go over the last 2 Rogue changes, just to prove point here. Defias Ringleader. Now, this is the change which everyone wanted, including Rogue players, because Rogue players couldn't beat this opening either. Just want to point this out.
Yep.
Like, the stupid coin, Defias Ring... We'll go over the coin at another time. But for now, they want to keep the coin, so I'm glad they changed this. Like, seriously. It's still a good opening. It's still a very strong opening, don't get me wrong. Still a very strong opening. But it's no longer...
but it's killable now.
It's killable now, yeah, that's the big point. Mages deal with this pretty well, actually, with the Mana Worm start.
Yeah, Mana Worm, then
or Lepernom. Or Lepernom.
Even the Arcane Missiles itself may already kill both.
A 1-drop plus a hero power deals with this opening now. Which is a pretty big deal, to be honest. Anyway. Now, the last change for Rogue was one which I think everyone is glad to see, but they shouldn't have nerfed the rest of Miracle Rogue because of this. They made Edmund Van Cleef a 2/2. So they buffed it. No, they removed stealth. This...
that's a really big deal.
So it gets sapped, assassinated. I just want to point out, if you've ever had an Edwin Van Cleef sapped, you want to kill yourself. Because you just got like 5 for 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, all your eggs are in one basket in Miracle Rogue, and that basket is no longer protecting itself.
Yeah, it's less cheesy, but they shouldn't have changed the others of Miracle Rogue then.
Will this still be played? It's a pretty big nerf.
I don't see it played, no.
It's a pretty big nerf. Really big nerf, actually. Anyway, my opinions on most of the changes are positive, apart from the Rogue ones. The Rogue ones, they nerfed the wrong cards, and while they've supposedly balanced in inverted commas Rogue, they didn't really do it properly. So Rogue is now, like, I think the most awkward class in the game, because it feels like the actual mana costs of the cards are fighting against the playstyle of the class, which is weird. Like, they should have nerfed the effects, not the actual mana costs. Because the effects was what was the problem, not the mana costs. Like,
Also want to point something out. In the past, they said about Defiance Ringleader that they want to change that card somehow completely, but now they just did it 1 less HP, so that's weird.
yeah, it is weird. But anyway, I'm not happy with the rogue changes. I hope that this gets changed, not back. Like, it was broken before. Like, rogue was insane before, along with like shaman. Although this is something random comment, by the way. If your class is broken, please admit it. Like, seriously, druid players admitted that their class was insane back in pre-beta. Rogue players, if you talk to any of them, if you go on the rogue forums, it's a bunch of rogue players saying that their class needs to be nerfed. That's insane, by the way. If you go on warlock forums, they're all asking to be buffed. And if you go on the shaman ones, they're like, oh, this class is too weak. We're absolutely balanced, actually. There's nothing wrong with feral spirits. Can you, like... Seriously? This is a random note where you have the rogue players actually want the class to be balanced if you looked at the forums, and then they over nerf it. This isn't really a big thing for rogues. Like, the actual people who like playing rogue hate this patch because they completely changed the playstyle, if you see what I mean. Like, whereas a lot of the other class changes were buffs apart from rogue. Like, the druid one was kind of a nerf, but the rogue one was a big nerf. And I just feel like they hit it. They hit rogue with the nerf bat a little too hard. But yeah, we'll go on to the next thing. But that was the major topic of the patch notes, essentially. Now, this is why I brought up shamans. Shamans were changed in one regard. It's not fire elemental. No, that would make too much sense. Feral spirits would make too much sense. Reducing the randomness on lightning storm. No, RNG keeps it spicy, man. It makes the game fun to play. We changed healing totem. Is there a communication gap between the community and Team 5 here? Like, am I missing something? Was healing totem like the most overpowered thing in shamans? Oh, by the way,
healing totem is strong, but
it was strong, but fire elemental says hi. Shaman good stuff. Like, seriously, that's actually a thing. It also happened to get first and second place in the last tournament. This is a super awkward change, by the way, because it's just like, alright, we don't think shaman's overpowered, but we're going to change them in some way, so here, have a healing totem nerf. Can we, like, alright, I just want everyone to look at fire elemental and write me, like, do this in the comment section. Write me a paragraph on how that card is balanced. I challenge people to do this. By all means, write a paragraph about how fire elemental is a balanced card.
I'm wondering what they will come up with.
I'm actually curious. I want to see people telling me that fire elemental is a balanced card.
Killed so many things.
Good luck. I applaud anyone who manages to come up with something which is actually interesting, by the way, because that's one hell of a hard task, is coming up with why fire elemental is balanced.
They either need to change the body or need to change the
ability. Yeah. Now once you're done with that, try and write one on feral spirits. That's also a fun one. Random comment, by the way. Wind Fury. I don't see why a bunch of people are like, oh, Wind Fury's insane. Have you noticed this recently? Where a bunch of people are like, oh, Wind Fury's crazy. Like, that's obviously the crazy thing about Shaman. I'm like, no one plays it.
I wouldn't say no one.
Okay.
Even Sparsh plays it.
Alright. Sparsh played a one-of Wind Fury for the first time in 2 months.
Yeah.
Which was when he played one-of Wind Speaker. I wouldn't really call that a good attendance in tournament play.
It's true. Yeah, that's not bad. Wind Fury it's good situation now.
It's good, but it's not overpowered. Not compared to like fire elemental. Like, Wind Fury is good. I think Wind Fury is better in arena than constructed.
Yeah.
It's good, but I don't think it's insane. I think I think Wind Fury is very good in Arena. If you guys see a Wind Speaker, by the way, in Arena, pick it. Very good card in Arena. In Constructed, it felt a bit awkward, but in Arena, Wind Fury is a super powerful mechanic, so I would take Wind Fury like outlets. Not so much Wind Fury the spell, but Wind Speaker definitely is a very good card in Arena. But in Constructed, it's just so clunky, and it just ends up in your hand, sitting around waiting to put Wind Fury on something that has more than 3 attack.
Yeah, but that's easy to do with Anthem tournament stuff. It's playable.
It's playable, but it's not like, oh my god, this is overpowered, and this is the reason why Shamans do well in tournament play. That's what I've been hearing recently, and I'm just like, guys, you need to look at the previous deck lists, I implore you. Wait. We found another typo!
What is it?
Alright, Sacrificial Pact changed from 2 to 1. Look at the picture, it's 0. And the original patch notes said 0.
Yeah. What are they doing?
Oh my god, that's pretty funny, to be honest. Like, one typo is like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I'm an idiot. You guys need to check your typos, by the way. This isn't even hard to pick up. We just read through the patch notes and we picked them up.
Yeah, it was Sacrificial Pact. The mana cost was just unnecessary. Now I don't know who plays it. We will see. It could work against if you have like really small stuff and you want to like get some health.
This is good in a Death Rattle Demon deck, which does not exist. I kind of do want to see Death Rattle Demons, by the way. Can we like make that a thing with curses on Death Rattle Demons? I think that'd be awesome. Like we have me and Moon have been playing Soulforge a lot, and there is an actual sacrificial deck where you sacrifice things to win the game. Like that is an actual deck, and it is a deck in most card games. But then we have a card called Sacrificial Pact and no Death Rattle effect on demons. Yeah, all the effects are battle cries. All of them. I think it's playable now in Arena. I mean, you could sacrifice your Felguard.
Yeah.
Or maybe a Blood Imp? Is Blood Imp a demon? Yeah, Blood Imp's a demon, I think.
Blood Imp is a demon, yeah.
Sacrifice your Blood Imp. Most value you'll ever get out of this thing. Apart from destroying Jiraxxus, I've actually done that in Arena and it is hilarious. I played against a Warlock in Arena a couple of days ago. I picked Sacrificial Pact because my picks were awful. So I decided, oh fine, I'll pick Sacrificial Pact. It might help me in a bind. I played against a Warlock who was like beating me like a lot, and he was gonna kill me next turn, but instead of killing me, he decided to like play Jiraxxus and then started spamming emotes, and I top decked Sacrificial Pact and killed him. Because Jiraxxus is a demon, and it doesn't say friendly demon.
Yeah.
Is this... I remember... Hey, do you remember when they actually made the post about Jiraxxus dying to Sacrificial Pact and Repentance? That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a while ago.
Sacrificial Pact like kills it, and Repentance makes Jiraxxus's maximum health 1, which is super awkward. It's like you get hit by a Silverhand recruit and you're dead. Hero Silverhand recruit. But anyway, onto the actual change in Warlock. Pit Lord. Now this is like the second best change besides Twilight Drake.
Yeah, I really like this change.
This was an awesome
really
change.
now.
This is a cool change. Like, for anyone's wondering, the old Pit Lord was a... was it 4 mana or 5 mana? I kept thinking it was 5 mana, but apparently it's 4.
It was 4. No, it's 4.
Wow.
4/7/5.
It was a 4 mana 7/5 that had Battle Cry deal 7 damage to your hero. Now it's a 4 mana 5/6 that deals 5 damage to your hero. I think that this Pit Lord is way better than the other Pit Lord. It's still...
Completely agree.
Its text is still, if your opponent has sap, you lose the game. But it's better against other classes. Oh my god, I just realized what's gonna happen. You play Pit Lord, your opponent sacrifices it, and then you lose 5 life, he gains 5 life.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be funny if that ever happens. By the way,
If that happens.
that's just funny if that ever happens. But Pit Lord, in all honesty, I think this goes in the aggro deck that Warlocks have been running recently.
Could be, yeah.
I think this is super
Very
good.
well.
It does limit your life tapping though, which is a bit of an issue, but it is still good. Now, Warriors. Now, Warriors were insanely underpowered. So what they decided to do was they did exactly what they did with Rogues. They increased the mana costs, but then added draw a card and everything. Alright, so Battle Rage. I have seen Battle Rage played, and it is scary. This card is terrifying. Like, alright, so what it is, it used to be draw a card for each damaged minion. Now it's every damaged character. I bet both heroes are always damaged, by the way.
It's a really good card now.
It's
It's
an
a better
arcane,
Arcane Intellect.
yeah, it's arcane intellect with an upside. This, I think Warriors actually need a draw power, but it's like, hey, you need draw power, have all the draw power. But in all honesty, I actually don't mind this. We'll have to see how it plays out, but I don't think Warriors broken because of they have draw power now.
No, not broken, but I guess they could be a tier higher. Let's see.
This is good. This is good. Commanding Shout. So, we heard you like 2 mana spells, so we added draw a card on it. That's the entire change.
Good.
Comments?
I like the change.
Yay! It's
I mean, it was not played before, like not much played, and now actually it makes sense to play it because
you can play it.
cantrips.
You can play
Yeah.
it. I'm okay with this. Like, normally adding a mana cost and adding a draw card is a good way of fixing most cards. Especially
Really
low
is, huh?
cost. Low cost cards especially. But this is, I like this change actually. Oh, need to scroll down. Inner Rage, the change which no one really cares about. Because if you were going to use it, you were going to combo off on that turn anyway, so sure.
Yeah, at least it stays.
Yeah, at least it stays. There is going to be that one awkward situation where you use it on a Gurubashi Berserker and he gets big game huntered.
Yeah.
That is a
be.
thing now. That is a thing.
It is a thing, yeah.
I think that's hilarious, by the way. If anyone ever has that happen to me, you need to send me a link to a video. Like, if they like inner rage the Gurubashi and you big game hunter the Gurubashi. But I think it's like quality of life improvements for warriors. I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Now onto a change which I love. Warriors now has a quality 2 mana 2/2. Now I love 2 mana 2/2s. I'm a Magic player. They were known as Grizzly Bears in Magic. Now they are just known as 2 drops with effects. But 2 mana 2/2 that can be used as removal or a buff. I like this. I really do.
I like this a lot. I even played the Cruel Taskmaster before because it was quite good with Shield Bearer turn 1 drop. Even in, like in the past where Shield Bearer you could enrage him.
Yeah.
Cruel Taskmaster was
Oh,
really
that
good.
was nuts. That was crazy.
But
But
yeah, but now it will be even played.
it's
more.
good. It's good now. I think it's amazing actually.
Yep.
Frothing Berserker. By the way, you know the big game hunter scenario? I got a big game hunter in arena and exactly what I said would happen happened. He played it,
Yeah.
he smashed all of his stuff into each other, it went up to 7 attack and I killed it.
Yeah, we had some discussion yesterday already about this card.
This was pretty
Do you
funny.
remember?
Yeah, this was funny. We'll just give you a basic like thing where this overall is a buff, but there is one scenario where I think a lot of warrior players I talk to would prefer this to be a 0/5, just so you could like buff it up with your own spells and then attack for like 6, but it still had 4 health or something. But
Yeah.
alright. Now, the awkward thing about this card is warrior players were getting used to buffing it twice, or it was twice plus damaging something, so it went up to 6. If you go up to 7, there is a card called Big Game Hunter. It is very good against warrior combo decks. And Frothing Berserker runs straight into it now.
Yeah, I guess you have to play it different.
You have
But
to.
there's a good thing about the change.
It's a
It gets
2-4.
easier.
It's good now.
Yeah, and it gets easier out of Kodo range.
Oh yeah, it
And
does.
Kodo will be played more after the patch because they buffed like the the Northshire cleric and stuff. They buffed
Yeah, they did.
all the small stuff.
Frothing
They buffed
Berserker.
Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Basically, it's amazing what one attack does to a card, but this isn't a buff or a nerf. This is a playstyle change. I just want to clarify that. You have to be super careful not to get this Shadow Word Death or Big Game Hunter, because it's actually quite hard to keep it out of the range of both spells now. If it didn't have the attack buff, you could just inner fire it and then attack for 4, and you'd have like a 3 mana 4/3 that was attacking with an upside, and that would be under Shadow Word Death. But now if you do it, just get Shadow Word Death.
Yeah, I agree. That's a playstyle change.
It's a playstyle change. It's amazing what one attack does to a card. It really is. It's amazing what one attack does to a card. But in this case, it's a playstyle change. You can't play Frothing Berserker in the same way you used to. But overall, I think it's a buff.
What do you think? Do we see warriors in the competitive tournaments more?
No.
I think we will.
Like, alright, Battle Rage, yes. Battle Rage will be played in competitive decks. The rest, not so much.
No. I mean warrior in general. Will we see them in the competitive tournaments more?
Maybe aggro decks might work with Battle Rage, but I can't really think of any other way. Like, maybe. We saw a mid-range deck get pretty high last time.
I mean, Battle Rage and Commanding Shout are really good in aggro deck.
They are super good, that's why I said aggro deck. Like,
yeah.
We might see a warrior aggro deck. That'd be nice, actually, because warriors haven't made an appearance in competitive play that's been meaningful for a while. There was like one deck here, one deck there. Not much. So, general thoughts. Now, the neutral changes, best change, Twilight Drake. Right? So is there any debate on that? Yeah. Worst change.
Captain's Parrot. Maybe there's another one.
Okay, Captain's Parrot at least was not detrimental to the game.
Yeah, it's a real change. It's shit, I guess.
Well, out of neutral,
Out of neutral.
I guess, Repairable.
Yeah, that's.
There's a lot of awkward. I think it's just Captain's Parrot, to be honest. I think it's just Captain's Parrot. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just Captain's Parrot. Anyway, Druid changes. Agree or disagree?
Agree a bit that they have less burst with Starfall and Wrath on the hero.
Okay.
But disagree with the savagery change. I guess they could have made something different. I mean, savagery was really good, but they should have changed it in a different way.
I agree with the ancient lore change and the direct, but yeah, savagery is weird. Like, and Cenarius is also another weird change. But yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Hunter. Is there anything ready to say about this? Best change, Hunter's Mark. No, best change, Scavenging Hyena. Worst change, Hunter's Mark. Move on.
Yeah. Not much to talk about.
There really isn't anything to talk about with Hunters.
Yeah, there isn't.
Mage.
Awesome changes.
I think the weirdest change is probably Mirror Image. The other two I'm definitely like gonna see. But Mirror Image I think is something we need to see how it pans out.
Yeah.
Paladin, Divine Favor. Yes, I agree with this wholeheartedly. Priest. If we say we disagree with them, Easy will find us and kill us. So we have to agree.
Okay, I agree.
Alright, Cabal Shadow Priest doesn't change much, but the rest of the stuff was fine apart from Lightspawn, which is just weird. Yeah.
Yeah, and we will see how Prophet Valiant turns out.
Yeah, I guess. We'll have to see. Rogue changes.
Yeah.
I think we already discussed this in depth.
Yeah.
We did. Don't get me wrong, guys. I am not saying Rogue should not have been nerfed. Rogue should have been nerfed. They were insane. This was not the correct way of doing it. Yeah. Not much else to say.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Shaman, give us an actual change, please. Um, Warlock, good changes. Pit Lord, Sacrificial Pact, both weren't played, both might be played now. I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Warrior, buffs are good in a class that's underpowered.
Yeah, that was the, I would say, even the most underpowered class. Even
I think it was.
Better.
I think it was. Yeah, it was the most underpowered. Yeah. All right. There's one thing I just want to say is the closing out of this patch. Yes. But the patch overall was actually quite good. Like, it seems like we're focusing on the negative things, but that's because it's feedback. That's the whole point. Like, if you don't focus on the negative things, then you never see what's wrong. That's where at least I apply myself to beta testing. But overall, the changes were positive. All the buffs, more or less, were good. Like, some of them were a bit like, why is this even here? Look at Lightspawn. But most of them, like the Penance ad or Holy Fire or whatever it's called, Penance, Pit Lord, Cruel Taskmaster, Commanding Shout, Battle Rage, good changes. Very good changes. Twilight Drake, good changes. The bad changes, in my opinion, were just the fact that Shaman didn't get any changes, which, wait, is that a bad change, or is that like a lack of bad changes?
It's a lack of change.
Yeah, anyway. The Shaman thing is just awkward. Healing Totem says hi, by the way. But the Rogue stuff was a bit weird. The Druid stuff, most of it was okay, apart from Savagery. There's like, this happens a lot with patches. You get a lot of positives and you get a lot of negatives. I think overall this patch was like a 7 or an 8. Like, most of it was really good change. Like, also the reward system changes, which we didn't go over, was very good. They just made it more gold, essentially. You get more gold for playing free-to-play. Awesome.
Let's just hope they implement a proper ranking system in the future.
Yeah.
And I also think that we will see another balance patch before the ranking system will be implemented.
Probably, because they have some stuff to fix. But
yeah,
in terms of tournament play, I think rogue attendance is gonna drop like a rock, which is funny because it actually makes rogue stronger because less oozes will appear.
I expect a lot of mages.
Yeah, me too. I expect a lot of mages. There'll probably be a lot of mages. A lot of shamans. I think shaman's going to be the predominant class again. Because everyone loves shaman mid-range mirrors. You know, the 25-minute minion hit minion fests. Yeah. But, by the way, I played shaman mid-range in the last tournament. I played 2 games that lasted 25 minutes.
Wow.
Really? Like, shaman mirrors are super slow. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna see a bunch of shaman mirrors. That's gonna be fun to watch. But anyway, as far as I'm concerned, the patch was mostly like positive. Most of the changes here were good ones. The only negative ones, in my opinion, was Shiv, Backstab, because that one doesn't make any sense. But Shiv was the big one from Rogue. From Priest, wasn't really much of one. I guess Lightspawn is the weird one there, I think. Anyway, but besides that, I think Shiv is the major one that made sort of the Rogue ones bad, and also the change to Savagery. Those are the 2 cards which I just don't understand.
I would agree.
Yeah, but the rest of it is actually pretty good. Like, it was a decent patch.
Yeah, I think we will have a really healthy metagame.
Yeah. I hope so. Like, I hope we have a decently healthy metagame. I'm gonna go at this. I'm gonna predict shamans are gonna like win the next couple tournaments. I'm gonna say it.
Shamans?
Yeah, shamans. I'm gonna say it. I think shamans are gonna win the next couple tournaments. They seem like the strongest right now. I mean, as long as there's a bunch of shaman players who want to agree that fire elemental and feral spirits are balanced, then we're not gonna get a nerf.
Yeah, but we have to see how the priest kinda mid-range control deck turns out.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that yet in action.
We'll have to see. I'm predicting shamans, but you never know. Maybe the buffs are amazing on like mage and priest.
Maybe easy come against top 4.
Yeah. That'd be cool, actually. Anyway.
Yep.
That's the entire patch review. The whole thing. Every little piece of the patch review. This has been Jotto. I've been here with Mr. Moon, my co-host in this situation.
Thanks for inviting me. It was a lot of fun to go through all the changes.
every time I do a patch review, I'll invite a guest on. It might be Moon, it might be Tali at some point, it might be someone else. We'll have to see. In about 3 years, because that's how long it takes them to release patches. But anyway, if you like the content, please subscribe. If you have any feedback or comments on Fire Elemental, put them in the comments below. But as for now, this is Jotto and Moon signing off.